Yes, good people, welcome back to the channel. So I've bought a Chinese diesel heater. This is a 5 kilowatt diesel heater. I purchased this off eBay for around £95. I'll put a link in the description. So this is the fitting kit that you get. So you do get quite a lot for your money. So that's the actual diesel heater. You've got all the Jubilee clips, fuel filter, fuel lines, all that kind of stuff in there. Cable ties, all the screws you're going to need. You've got the fuel pump, the control panel, LCD screen, remote control. That's the fitting plate. You've got the exhaust silencer, that's the exhaust pipe, air filter, all sorts of ducting, wiring loom, some sort of fuel line. So I'm going to have a good read up of the instructions on this. I've seen quite a few videos over the years, so you know, this ain't going to be a how to install. This is going to be, I'm going to install this and I'll take some recordings as I go along. A lot of people say about the ticking on these. I'm not really too bothered. As long as it warms the van up, I'm not going to be having it on all the time anyway, through the night, that kind of thing. Just to warm us up in the middle of winter for some wild camping. And then also in the kit you get this 10-litre diesel tank where you've got to drill your own hole in the bottom for the diesel to go to the diesel heater, and you fill it up there. My initial thought was to put it under my bed frame, but it's too big. So what I'm thinking is if I can attach it to the door that way, have the pipe coming out the bottom, run down that way, run the fuel line, and then as we come in the side door, I'm hoping I can get it down the side of the chair there. That would be ideal, so I can have the exhaust pipe going straight down and everything else will be sort of placed on the wall, joining up to the fuel tank down the back there. So I want to kind of future proof the van. So at the minute I've got this 3-seater chair bang in the middle at the front, so if I ever decide to move this and put, say for instance, a rock and roll bed in with a sideboard and a wardrobe, I know that diesel heater is going to be in that cupboard out the way. Okay, so we've moved the seat out the way for better access. One thing I did notice is this bed needs to go back a little bit, so I need to rearrange the leisure battery, move it that way a bit more, just so that can push back enough for the tank to sit on that door there. So with the chair removed, this is literally where I want to place it. Now I took a marking off the window. I looked on the outside, and underneath there is a lot of space for pipes to go down, so I need to make sure that's pretty much central. And with the chair in place, I'll get about 1 inch gap on the side of the unit, so that's a good template for me. Exhaust will come out the back of the unit underneath, and there's a little bracket that I can mount that to on the underside. Same with this will, well, I'll work that one out. There's an air intake that's going to sit over there somewhere. Then I'll drop the diesel line down, so then the diesel line will come up hopefully in that corner, and I should be able to put it just on the wall there, the diesel pump and the filter, and then a line running to the diesel tank that'll be on that door. That is the plan of action. So from that little marker I'll get a little bit more precise. We should be good, and then with the chair in place, that is tucked out of the way, and the fan will be blowing that way. This is the plate in, so I need to drill a hole for that, a hole for that, a hole for that, going underneath, and then we'll try and drill some holes in the plywood to get the nut and bolt through. What's the worst that could go wrong though? We're now at the point where we're connecting things up. So I've got the exhaust, the air intake, I've got the diesel pipe going in. I've just got to connect this hose. We've got the hole, which I've had to sort of modify a little bit. So we've got the hole for the air intake, the hole for the diesel intake, and the exhaust hole. I did cut some holes around for the bolts, but I've had to trim little bits away just to make it a bit of a tighter fit, and then I had to cut this gap out the middle purely to get these Jubilee clips through. So it does fit through now pretty snug. So next job, like I say, is get this hose on. We'll feed that through as well. So next thing we'll do is we'll connect this, we'll feed all that on the outside, so just that coming in to the diesel input, have a quick tidy up, and then we're good to screw the unit down to the plywood floor. What I will do also is spray some red oxide primer on the inside and give it a good treat on the outside. What I was thinking on the underside was if I can get some heat-proof silicone just to stop the water getting in there, give it a nice airtight seal, but that'll have to be a job for tomorrow because I want to get this fitted today. So I've painted it with red oxide primer, put some black paint over it, just letting it dry. Well, technically working on a camper van, so yeah, that's gonna be my lunch. Oh yeah. Cheers back in. I've run out of time today, so I'm gonna have to carry on tomorrow, but we've got tucked in down the back there, got it screwed into the floor this side. Haven't done this side because I can't find my extension bar to get the screws in down that side, but we'll sort that out tomorrow. There's the plug, and on the underside you can see where I've painted. We've got the air inlet, the fuel line and the exhaust. The fuel line I've run along the back. It's a bit of a temporary fix. I was going to run it all the way under, and I was using quite a bit of pipe work to try and get it all the way to the back, so then I thought I may just pop straight back up here and just run it inside, because I'm going to have the pump inside anyway, and it will use a little less cable having to wiggle it about. And yeah, that air intake, there's a clip just up there that holds on the wiring loom. I've wrapped a cable tie around that, cable tied that, and that is not going anywhere. And the exhaust, there's a hole just there, so I put a nut bolt and a washer through that, put this bracket on. There's a bit of rust there I need to sort out, but I decided to go bareback and not bother with the muffler. Yeah, to be fair, like I said before, we are going to use this. We'll see how it goes. I did read it's not recommended to cut these pipes, so we'll see how it sounds. If it's too loud, then we'll think about doing something else with it. So it's the following morning. I've got a fresh mind, so what I've decided to do is, where the diesel pipe goes through the bottom of the van, I've just run it across, brought it up in that corner. I'm going to attach it to the wall across here, and then we've got the pump and the filter, which I'm thinking is going to go around there. You need to have these at about 35 degrees. So from there I'm going to have to leave a bit in the corner like that on a coil, so when I open the door, the tank, which will be placed there, there's plenty of manoeuvrability in the fuel line. I've taken the bed frame out, and just to make life a little easier, so I'm going to button this all together and then attach the fuel tank to the back of the door there, and I think we're good to go and make a start on the wiring. And then to attach the fuel line to the wall, I've got these little clips, you can screw them or stick them to the wall, but I'm going to screw them, and there's little holes where you can put the cable ties through to secure the fuel line. Alright, so next up we're sorting out the tank. So we've got this little plug that has to come through the hole I drilled there at the bottom, so you need to feed it from the inside out. Now what I worked out is if you feed a cable through, that slides over, and then you should be able to pull it through. There you go. And then pull the cable out. Simple as that. And it's got to fit a few attachments on. nut and a washer, that kind of thing, and then I'm going to screw that to the van door. So that's the setup. Now put a little cable tie in there just to keep things away from the door shut, so when you open this up it extends out, and when you close the door just got to be a little bit careful guiding this around. Not sure if this will be a permanent fixture, but for now it gets fuel to the diesel heater. Next job, wiring. Control panel is now wired in, runs down the back, comes out this big hunk of mess that, yeah, don't judge me, this will get sorted out a bit better. And we've got the live going to the leisure battery, the ground going to the leisure battery, we've got the connector going to the pump, and a connector going to the diesel unit. So yeah, I think it's time for a test run, so I just need to pop to the petrol station, get some diesel, and then we'll start priming her up, and hopefully we get a bit of heating. Yeah. Oh, I've taken the fuse out at the moment, that's why that's not powered on, but it did display. Okay, fuel station. So we've got a bit of diesel in, we're all connected all the way down. I put the fuse in, so let's see if we can get her running. So to prime this particular control unit, you have to hold up and down, and then you've got to keep them held. You can hear the pump going, and you've got to sort of manually do it yourself. As you can see, get some air bubbles in there, but the fuel is coming through. So we're going to try and get that up to the diesel heater, and then see if we can get it fired up. Oh yeah. Now to fire it up, I've got to hold that down for 2 seconds. On. And then you have H1 to 6, which is the speed, I presume. So we've got, that means it's on, that means the fan's going, the glow plug's on, we've got the air input and exhaust output going, so we're going to let this run for a couple of minutes now and see if it kicks in. Yeah, far too confusing for me. But we're just waiting for that pump to kick in now. Let's see how we go. So the exhaust is definitely kicking in a gear. Not a lot of smoke come out of it so far. The pump's going, ticking away nicely. There's no real air bubbles left in the line. But are we getting any heat? Oh yeah, we're getting warm air. Oh, nice. We're getting heat. I've got it on the highest speed. I thought we'd give it a good blast out. But yeah, we're definitely getting some warm air. She's ticking away nicely in the back there. Still some air bubbles coming through in the fuel line. Yep, it's getting warm, but it's not hot. Oh, it's getting there now. Okay, so it's a few days later, and I was having trouble with the controller unit. The temperature was given a inaccurate reading, and I couldn't get the remote to pair. Also, this screen was staying on constantly, so I contacted the seller. They sent me a whole new diesel unit, so I've still got the old one in there, but a complete set. So I swapped the controller over, and bang, she's working off the remote control. So just press on, turns it on, nice and simple. It's just starting to warm up and do its thing. Playing around with it, what I've worked out, this H is sort of like manual mode, so you're controlling the speed. If you hold down this top left button, that turns it into sort of temperature mode, so you can control it like a house thermostat, but it's currently set to 20. The temperature in here is 15. Now when it gets to say 21, it won't stop, it will just slow down. It's not full control, which is a bit of a bummer, but once you get it up to sort of temperature, just hold down the power button and turn it off. Now you've also got, if you press the bottom two buttons, you can set a timer for when to turn it off or on, that kind of thing. Something I'll never use, so I'll turn that off. And if you hold them two, it turns it into Alpine mode, which basically runs at a lower setting. So this is something I'm probably going to use. Not sure the science behind it, but from what I've read, it's better to have it on that sort of mode. So hopefully you enjoyed the video, and if you're fitting one of these yourself, they are pretty straightforward. Just take your time. Hope this video's helped you out. Oh yeah, she's getting warm already. This will help us out through the winter, doing some wild camping adventures, that kind of thing. So if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel to keep up to date on the latest of this van. I'm going to be doing plenty of videos over the winter. And we are getting lovely warm air. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you all soon. Peace.